Hello all and welcome to the Mug Life DIY. I am Julia and I am so excited that you decided to stop by my channel. So today I've got a couple of Dollar Tree hacks or projects, whatever you want to call them, but really fun neutral decor that you can use pretty much anytime. I have had several of these items in my craft stash for I don't even know how long. I was out shopping with my friend and I really loved a lot of designs I was seeing with the beaded accents and distressing and the terracotta look. So that is what I'm going for. I took this Dollar Tree candle. Is this a candlestick? Yes. And that little wood round piece, I actually saved it from an Aldi candle. I love saving wood pieces because I know I can craft with them. So I just took it out of my stash and just glued it to the top. Then I began hot gluing all those little beads around because it had that little lip. And it did take a little bit because I was trying to make sure that you wouldn't see the circle of the bead. But at the end, I was so tired of burning myself. I just had at it and had some fun gluing them on there, shoving them. And I'm like, I'm going to paint it. It'll be all right. So whichever way you want to get them on there, I would recommend getting those little finger protectors. If you don't already know, Dollar Tree sells them. They are hot pink. They are lifesavers unless you lose them all of the time like I do. So I just glued all the way around, and once I was done with that, I knew I wanted to paint it. So the Dollar Tree candlestick was actually a pretty kind of creamy natural color, but I didn't have anything that would match in that color, or I'd have to create something. And I was like, I just want a really fun and quick and easy project. So I began just with like my white acrylic paint, but I wasn't liking the coverage. So I decided I wanted that texture. So I grabbed some baking soda, shoved it in my paint, and created that thick, chalky, just plaster of Paris look. And I'm obsessed. I want to make a couple, maybe one a little bit taller, and use this as an accent piece, but super fun and super easy, and you will just love how it ends up. Now, I did just a back and forth motion on the top and just tried to cover as much as I could of the beads. I did go back in with a smaller paintbrush, but I wasn't worried about it at first. Now, this little candlestick has a hole down at the bottom. So I was able to put my fingers up inside of the candlestick and hold it. Yes. I'm sure there's probably an easier way of doing this, but this is the way I went. And I just kind of stippled my paint, or my paint-like paste, whatever we're going to call it, to give it that plaster look. I am just loving this texture and this detail. It was so fun to do. And the coverage is amazing. I stippled all the way around and I only did one coat. So this was a pretty fairly quick and easy, just high-end project that you can make with things you have on hand. Now, what do we all need? We need some risers to give a little bit of height variance in all of our decor pieces. So I took this Dollar Tree rectangular wood piece. Now, I love these plaques. I all the time see them at my Dollar Tree. Hopefully you guys can find them. I do know that Walmart sells little wood plaques. I do believe they're more than $1.25. So I will have to look at that price variance for you guys, but still a pretty good deal for a little wooden riser. I went in with my Waverly chalk paint. This color is called Ocean. It dries a lot darker. See, I'm just in love. It's that navy. I have done some other projects with this color and I'm obsessed. I will have those projects linked up above in the cards. And I knew I wanted to distress it to kind of give, not like a matchy, because you know me, I don't match anything, but to complement the candlestick that I wanted to have next to it. So I just took my chunky brush after I had cleaned it from my plaster, and I just started dry brushing to town all the way on the top, the bottom, the edges, just everywhere with my white acrylic paint. Now, I already opened up a couple of the packages because I wasn't sure which size I wanted to do for my little legs. Now, if you have been to Dollar Tree recently, you will have seen these adorable little new project pieces that are in like the gardening spring section at the Dollar Tree. These are the little mini planter pots. I absolutely love them. I love that they're wood, and so many ideas and projects have come to mind. So I did have to buy 4 packages, but I knew I would be using the smaller ones as well, so it was a win for me, and I just hot glued them to the bottom. Now, if this was an unfinished, like I was going to stain it, I would glue them first, then stain. But since I had already painted it and I knew I was going to be painting the legs to match, it was just the way that I went with it. So then I had to go back in with as I'm dropping the top and painting my finger, real craft moments with me. And I painted all 4 of my legs and then went back in and distressed all 4 of them as well. And to seal my Waverly paint and my distressing, I went in with my Waverly varnish and gave everything a really good thick coat just to give it a protection, just in case my decor pieces are on top and try to scratch it. I just wanted a layer of protection because it's me, and I really like the really nice pop of sheen, and I feel like it adds just a nice extra layer of, pizzazz that makes it look finished. I do know I have also used Mod Podge sealer. They do have a waterproofing one that I love using, but I had this one on hand and I wanted to use the rest of it that I had in this little Waverly jar. So use whatever top coat you would like on the very top of your project. Now, I love mixing and matching wood tones, so I wanted to do something very natural and organic. So I took this little wooden plaque from Dollar Tree and cut off the rope that it was attached with. And my son's coming to talk to me about something about Pokemon related and, the crafting life of the mother. So with this one, I wasn't sure if I wanted to paint it, if I wanted to stain it. And in the end, as I said, I just wanted it kind of really natural, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for the feet, the legs, and I debated for quite some time, and I ended up going with these Dollar Tree little legs. Now, I have bought these over the years, and I know they still sell them. I see them all the time. The hardest part was finding 4 of the same measurement. Probably this is from 2 different packs, and I just had to measure them out and find 4 of the exact same size. I would recommend using wood glue, but for this video I did use hot glue, so this won't last as long as if I was using wood glue. But with me, I tend to want to redo and upcycle my projects, so hot glue works just fine for me in this project. And I glued all 4 of those really cute little wood nobbins, what are we calling those little woods? Yeah, glued all 4 of those down, and that project is done. Like, even more simple. All right, so this next mumbling. This next project is from Hobby Lobby, this little frame. I have had it for quite some time. Got it from the clearance section, and I bought it because I loved the frame. I just thought it was super cute, and I knew I could make it my own decor. Now, I love these Dollar Tree, actually, I believe they call it their wallpaper, peel and stick wallpaper. Yeah. Well, I love to craft with them, and I really thought this blue was super pretty. And since I did the little blue riser, I thought it would match nicely. Now, originally I grabbed one of the little wood die cuts, and I wasn't happy with how large it was. So I just had to kind of play with it. And then I thought about it and I was like, it's just too large. It's overpowering. I wasn't happy with it. So I went back up to my craft stash and decided to go a different route. But how easy is this peel and stick wallpaper? You just pull the back off and you place it down. So I find this the easiest way to upcycle 99% of my Hobby Lobby clearance finds. This also will work for any of your Dollar Tree signs, which I have done several crafts with these items. I love them. There's a variety of them. And I mean, like I said, how quick and easy that is to change the entire look of this little framed picture. And as I was holding it, I just really wanted it to stand out a little bit more. So I took my favorite distressing brush, which is from the Dollar Tree. It's that really coarse bristle one. And I'm just taking some of my white acrylic paint and just kind of having fun going back and forth, and I just think it makes those details pop so wonderfully, and I really love how neutral it makes it. And it's going to look perfectly in my little setup that I keep changing my mind where I want everything to go. But I just did that all around the frame until I was happy. You could do less or more, or even use a different color if you didn't want such a bright contrast with the white acrylic paint. Once I was done, there, the faux leather words. I grabbed like several of these packs from Dollar Tree during the fall season, and I loved crafting with them. So I was really happy when I found them in my craft stash, and I just lightly added a couple of little glue dots and pressed down, and voila, that craft is done. And for some reason, I thought one little candlestick was not enough. So I'm going to take this little candlestick, which I found at a thrift store quite some time ago, and another wooden Aldi candle top. I mean, if y'all don't save these little candle tops, what are you doing? You've got to save them. So I wasn't sure which bead would fit. I was kind of hoping that my black beads would fit, but they were too large. So I had to go back to the same beads that I used for the white candlestick. Now I love this one because it is short and squatty. It's perfect, and it gives some height variation to the taller Dollar Tree candle. So do the same process. I hot glued and shoved all those cute little beads all inside. Now, I wanted this candlestick to be similar but also different at the same time, and since this one was shorter, I decided to grab 4 of my wood beads and glue them to the bottom to lift it up a little bit, but add a little bit of a flair to the style. Now, always for my favorite part, the painting. So I just took some of my black acrylic paint and the baking soda technique, and let me just say, this black acrylic paint, it reacted so much differently to my other brand. This one I did have to add a little bit of water to it, but I think I did add a little bit more baking soda. So, you know, you got to just pay attention to your mixture. I did have to end up doing about 3 coats to give it a full coverage, but I'm okay. I just kept going and just kept building. It took forever to dry, but like I said, I was determined with this look and I loved it. So you just have to kind of be patient while you're doing this kind of textural painting hack. I went, like I said, pretty lightly on the first round and did everything. And then I began the stippling process down at the bottom. Also painted the little wood beads so everything would be the same. But I love the flat color or the matte flat color and texture. Oh, it's just my favorite. I'm just a huge fan of this. Now I wanted to lighten it up and really highlight the texture. So I found this like khaki, like tan color that I had, and I lightened it up with a little bit of my white paint and just distressed this candlestick. Now for the final project, this is also a combination of a thrift store flip and using Dollar Tree items. So I bought this really cute cutting board quite a long time ago at the thrift store, and it was beat up, but I saw so much potential and I had wanted to make a riser from this for such a long time, and I'm finally doing it. So I took all of those little felt pads off the bottom and cleaned up that little edge, and I had to re-glue a couple of little things, but this point I was just kind of deciding where I wanted my little pedestal beads to be. I tried a little bit inside, but I thought it looked a little wonky. So I decided to go a different route, and I even changed the bead color. I also picked up this little craftwood beads from the Dollar Tree, and it had several different colors in it, and I love this. This is fairly new to my Dollar Tree. I did have to use 2 of the packages just so I could get that dark brown, almost like an espresso color of the beads, and they're very large. I love the size of them. I'm not sure the millimeter. I would have to measure them, but I decided to go on the outside of my little cutting board, and I'm just in love with how that dark color complements the darker tones in this cutting board. Now, this little copper strip had fallen off. I believe it was on there when I originally bought it, but being in the craft hoard, you know, it eventually fell off. I am so excited to finally use this cording. I found it not too long ago at my Dollar Tree. They had little tassels, they had the cording, they had a few other little jewelry making things, and I was so excited to use it. So I decided to use the mid-tone kind of lighter, I guess, brown of the cording and cut it into 3 even pieces. Now, I wanted to just enhance this natural wood color that is in the grain. I adore it. I love woods, and I love, as I've said, mixing and matching different wood colors in my home. Now, my friend makes this wood butter, and I love it. I use it on all my cutting boards, and this is going in my kitchen, so I thought it was perfect to just enhance it with that wood butter. And I took the cording and I just braided it. I did go ahead and braid the whole thing. I wasn't quite sure how long I wanted the little strap to be around the hole. So I'm just going to kind of mess around with it and decide just the look I was going for. So I kind of decided on about that length. And then I was like, oh, how cute would it be if it turns out to be a little bit of a tassel? So originally I was just going to interbraid and glue it and kind of tuck it behind it to hide the knot. But I wanted to just use what was there. So I decided to cut off the excess, untwine it, and glue it to make a tassel. So this is what I'm kind of doing as I'm messing around with it. I'm like, I'm going to make this a tassel. So I had to unknot it, mess around with it, but it ends up looking beautiful. So one of the little extra pieces that I had, I glued to the very top side and just tightly wrapped it around my little knot that I had. And I glued that down by pressing it down. And best hack that you got to do, turn your glue gun off so it's mostly a cool low temp, and then glue it and you won't burn your fingers off. Now, I have changed and given you a couple of different styling options. I absolutely adore all of these pieces, and I'm going to have so much fun decorating my space with them. So as you can see, all the different colors and combos that you can use, and the texture is just to die for. I cannot believe how simple this Dollar Tree flip turned out. I mean, it definitely looks like you got it somewhere other than Dollar Tree. And mini pots, I'm pretty sure they don't look like little mini pots anymore. I hope you guys love this little riser and that you will be inspired to make your own and have some fun crafting with me along the way. And I'm currently resetting up my coffee bar. So I'm kind of just, like I said, messing around with different pieces of where I want them. But I absolutely love all of the different risers and the little small knickknacks that sometimes you forget that you love having in your home. And after Christmas, I always feel like it's just so stark and bare in my home. So I hope you got lots of inspiration on these crafts that I made for you guys. If you aren't subscribed, I would love to have you, and let me know which one is your favorite. Until next time.